Is melatonin safe? Okay, before I dive in, I'm Dana Kay, a board certified holistic health and nutrition practitioner, and I'm here to answer that question for you today for my regular burning questions segment. Now, melatonin is one of the things that I get asked about very often. I get asked about a lot of things very often, but this is one almost every day, especially by parents of children with ADHD. And that's because sleep issues are a very common problem with our kiddos. Now, I'd love to know in the comments below if your child with ADHD has ever struggled with sleep. If they have, give me a hashtag sleep in the comments. My son used to struggle with falling asleep and staying asleep all the time in the past, but we've made huge changes and he's had huge improvement and now no longer has any sleep issues. But kids with ADHD have certain tendencies that can keep them from getting a good night's sleep. Kids with ADHD can have trouble with self-regulation. That can keep them from shifting from that sort of active mode to that wind down mode at the end of the day. Kids with ADHD are more prone to nightmares, bedwetting, and sleep disorders such as restless leg syndrome. If you're, sleep apnea as well. So, if your kid is a mouth breather and also may snore, it's something that you want to get checked out. Kids with ADHD tend to put off doing homework and other tasks until the last minute. That can also create, a more later, hectic evening in the home. Tweens and teens with ADHD may report feeling more productive during quiet nighttime hours. They can easily fall into the habit of staying up too late too often. And many kids with ADHD also have anxiety problems, and their anxious little feelings can emerge at night when there are fewer activities to distract them. This causes them to have trouble falling asleep or even staying asleep. Now, before we dive into melatonin, there are two things you can do that will encourage better sleeping habits for your child. So number one is set a quality bedtime routine. A general rule is allocating an hour to this process. So depending on their age, this will look differently for different kids and different ages. So, bath, a lone wind down in the room, books, lights out, then cuddles. For example, in the alone wind down time, my boys like to do those adult coloring books, and it's like meditation. They're these little small boxes that they just sit in there and they color the numbers. It is amazing. And also those big adult dot to dots. There's like 1,500 dots on the one page, but the amazing pictures that emerge, again, it's like meditation. Also, visual reminders and timers are often very effective with kids that have ADHD and can be really helpful for the evenings. So make a chart with pictures that show exactly what needs to be done before bed. Bathing, brushing teeth, PJs, book time, and so on. And these visual reminders help children stay on task. The second thing you can do is remove all stressors and screens about an hour before bedtime. We all know exactly what it feels like to toss and turn when something is frustrating or annoying us. So make sure that anything that is stressing your child is removed at least an hour before lights out. It's also important to remove screens at least an hour before bedtime too. And once these stresses are removed and a quality routine is established, bedtime will become much less of a battle zone. Now on to melatonin. Okay, so melatonin can be helpful for children who are struggling to fall asleep, but I would only suggest using it for a short period of time instead of for that longer term. We want to really get to the underlying stressor that is causing the sleep disturbances in the first place, and there usually is always a stressor. Something to keep in mind with melatonin is that it can wear off throughout the night. And many kids experience night terrors or unrestful sleep when taking melatonin. So melatonin is usually okay in the short term, but always check with your doctor before starting any supplements. But for the longer term, I'd rather look deeper. What is going on in that body that is causing sleep issues? Now, we do this with functional lab testing. I'm going to tell you that serotonin is a precursor to melatonin. So are they deficient in serotonin, and 95% of serotonin is made in the gut. And so if your gut's not functioning well, you're not able to produce the serotonin to make the melatonin. So this is just one of the things that we look at, but I'd be happy to talk with you more about what that looks like if you need to. If you want me to chat with you further, just comment a hashtag me below and I'll reach out via private message. But that's all for today. Have a great rest of the week and weekend, and I'll talk to you all soon. Take care.